Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
It was a big relief because as soon as he came out, it was like he was moving. It wasn't fully, but he was moving. So I was like, okay, we got the movement back going. You know, I'm going to have a son that can walk again. And so, yeah.
Coming up on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW, we have part 2 of an Odessa High football player's amazing return to sports. Good evening and thanks for joining us here on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our CBS 7 YouTube page. I'm Jay Hendricks. We start tonight with election news. Sarah Stogner has worn many hats, from an oil and gas lawyer to Antina Ranch manager and Texas Railroad Commission candidate. She may add district attorney to that list if she wins. Last week, the politician, who has campaigned twice about overhauling the RRC, announced that she was switching gears. Originally a 2024 RRC candidate, Sarah Stogner is now running for district attorney over Ward, Loving, and Reeves counties. Stogner said that this transition felt like the right thing to do, though her mission remains the same. She wants to protect the Permian Basin and the people in it. Stogner has made her name over the last year and a half, raising awareness about zombie wells and demands for better regulations on oil and gas companies from the RRC. That mission is why she originally was reluctant to run for the 143rd District Attorney when she was asked by a Republican PAC.
So I feel like that mission that I started has its own legs and it will continue to run on its own. It doesn't need me in that mission, and that my talent is better spent helping protect women and children in the Permian.
In her campaign announcement last week, Stogner referenced a 2008 Texas Monthly feature criticizing the current DA of 26 years, Randall Reynolds. CBS 7 contacted Reynolds but has not received a response. As some of you may know, the Fire Relief and Retirement Fund in Midland is underfunded. Today, the city of Midland discussed that, approving an ordinance to increase the contribution rate toward that Fireman's Relief and Retirement Fund by 2%. The extra 2% will come from the city's general fund and will add $500,000 to the Fire Relief and Retirement Fund every year. Though this is one way to help reduce the millions unfunded, it is a start.
Well, I know the current city council and the current city administration is very eager to get this behind us. They're working for solutions with the pension board and the Firefighters Association and the firefighters to resolve this and come to an agreement to where we can move forward and make this a secure fund.
The city will have an updated review to determine a more accurate amount it's underfunded. One of the solutions was to possibly propose a bond for the March election, but the review won't come in time to propose it. City is currently looking for an option that will not affect taxpayers and will be a responsible solution. Now an update for you. We bought a zoo. Well, we didn't, but the Midland City Council unanimously approved land permits for a zoo and preserve near the former Nueva Vista Golf Course. Now the leaders of these projects aim to break ground in 2024 and officially open in 2027. The area will be the 5th largest zoo in Texas and will also give residents in Midland something new to do. The preserve is expected to have ponds, green acres to walk on, and while the zoo is still working on a list of animals, Midlanders can expect giraffes and rhinos as main attractions. All sorts of large cats and birds will also be included, but there is also an educational aspect to it.
The whole heart behind the zoo is having interactive animals, so animals that you can have a relate with or interact with, feed, pet, something along those lines. We want it to be very educational and very interactive. The best way to remember something is to do something, not just read about it, but to actually do it.
The City Council says they are impressed with the amount of research and time this organization put with the community, visiting with residents, asking what they want to see come to Midland, and finding the space to do it with a great amount of distance from neighborhoods. Time now to talk your weather forecast. Cloudy skies out there, cool weather today. It looks like some rain could be headed our way. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teeferteller joins us with more. Tom?
Yeah, setting up for a messy night as we're going to see a mix of light rain, drizzle, mist, and maybe even some patchy fog in our forecast. A little disturbance has brought a few showers across the Midland-Odessa area here this evening. Everything's really on the light side as it moves off to the east to northeast, passing through Big Spring at the present time. And we're going to see more of it develop overnight tonight into the early morning hours as we're seeing some disturbances roll across from the main storm system right across West Texas. It looks like the big show is going to be coming up on Thursday when this whole system moves out. That's when we'll see better chances of rain in the forecast by the afternoon into the evening hours moving across West Texas. Right now, again, we have a little light rain showing up on our live iCam in Odessa right now, where temperatures again, well, the visibility is down in a few spots due to some of the areas of rain down to 5 miles in Seminole. Temperatures are on the chilly side too, lower 50s out there to the upper 40s back into the mountain areas, and it looks like more of this rain is going to be on the way as Gulf moisture continue to move in on winds up to 30 miles an hour, so making it a little chilly out there. And again, more rain is on the way.
Yesterday, we told you about an Odessa High School senior who had major comeback after doctors told him he might never walk again. But after surgery and months of rehabilitation, the football player would return to the world of sports, this time on the basketball court. When he was cleared to return to Odessa High, he helped the Broncos claim the by-district title for basketball. Despite proving that he could play sports once again, there remained a lot of self-doubt. And when it came to returning to the gridiron, a trip to his doctor's office changed his perception.
I went to Lubbock and I had seen my neurologist, and he told me everything looked good with my neck, that if I wanted to play football, I could play. So once that happened, I already knew, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna play then for sure.
DeJuan would play and have a big impact. Tune in to CBS7 News tomorrow for part 3 of this story. This morning, the Midland City Council made an agreement with Special Olympics Texas to host the Fall Classic athletic competition in Midland and Odessa. Fall Classic will be held. It's going to be next fall, and parents of children with special needs are excited to have this competition coming to the Permian Basin. It's been in College Station for the last 13 years. Bynum School and Spectrum Solutions were two organizations brought up by council members to highlight the importance of making sure people with intellectual disabilities are treated equally.
Being able to see your child compete and enjoy athletics like everybody else, those are the things that matter. When we talk about quality of life, that affects everybody, and it should include everybody, especially children like my own that are autistic.
Some of the sports they'll be able to host include bocce. They'll have swimming at the natatorium at the Aquatic Complex, as well as others. Corrales, just like many other parents of kids with special needs, is an advocate for competitions like this to come to the Permian Basin. Representative Brooks Landgraf and his family hung a commemorative UTPB 50th anniversary ornament on the state tree in the Texas House Chamber. Landgraf's office says that Dustin Pondo, a UTPB junior, is majoring in art with an emphasis in graphic design and painted this ornament. Landgraf also says that Pondo's painting features the UTPB 50th anniversary Time to Fly logo and includes depictions of reindeer, stars, and other Christmas scenery silhouetted against a backdrop of falcon orange, reminding one of a festive West Texas sunset. In August of 2022, the Field's Edge in Midland opened up to serve individuals who ended up becoming homeless. 16 months later, Field's Edge is already looking to expand its mission to helping those who are less fortunate. Midland has an estimated total of around 250 homeless. The Field's Edge has 10 tiny homes for their residents where they have a bedroom, living room area, and a kitchen area. It may be small, but for the residents, it's a life-changing experience.
I'm by myself. I have my own place. I can do what I want in here, decorate it the way I want. And I like that. I like that solitude. It's been really a nice experience.
The Field's Edge passed its first anniversary back in August and is currently looking to expand to help more people.
It'll be a slow process, but we're looking to build the next 40 houses, so we'll be 50% complete at the end of that.
Harvey says he also hopes the same kind of facilities will eventually be made in Odessa to help anyone who is homeless there. Today, the Public Utility Commission of Texas and local lawmakers were in Midland to talk about electric reliability here in the Permian Basin. The workshop brought together representatives from the oil and gas industry, transmission and distribution utilities, and ERCOT staff, all to discuss how the petroleum industry can work with the power industry to ensure reliable electric infrastructure is available.
So really, yeah, we're taking a very collaborative approach out here, and the more we can hear from the people affected by the actions and the decisions we're making at the PUC, the better those decisions are going to be.
The commission is holding similar workshops around the state to get that public input. Tracking crime now, this man you're about to see, 46-year-old Steve Leal, was arrested for driving while intoxicated. That's according to Odessa police. They say Leal was driving a dump truck that rolled over at Loop 338 and Highway 80. Odessa police say he took an exit too fast, spilling rocks all over the road. Leal was taken to the hospital for minor injuries. No other injuries were reported. The Texas Supreme Court is asking the state medical board to provide more guidance on the medical emergency exception to the abortion law. It was first challenged by the law by a woman named Kate Cox, who sued to terminate her pregnancy after learning her unborn baby has a fatal genetic condition. After a judge granted her permission to get the procedure, Texas Supreme Court stepped in and has ruled Cox cannot get an abortion under the medical emergency exception. Cox says doctors told her continuing the pregnancy threatened her future fertility. In this case, the justices said Cox's doctors didn't establish her symptoms were life-threatening. You'll remember we told you yesterday Cox's attorney has said she traveled out of state to get an abortion. They haven't said whether she plans to continue her legal fight. Right now, here's a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers on our website, CBS7.com. You can see all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. Still ahead, Ukraine's president visited Washington today with a renewed push for funding to help in the war against Russia. The hang-up, delaying more aid despite his meetings with lawmakers and President Biden. That story is coming up next from news across the nation, right here on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in the U.S. asking for billions of dollars in new military assistance in its war against Russia. But as CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry reports from Washington, Republicans and Democrats are far from seeing eye to eye on this issue.
With the second anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine fast approaching, President Biden is urging Congress to approve more aid to help Ukraine in its fight against Russia.
Ukraine will emerge from this war proud, free, and firmly rooted in the West unless we walk away.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spent the day in Washington, making the case for more funding as he met with the president and congressional leaders.
No one but Putin wants a prolonged war. We dream of a Christmas in a peacetime, of course, and we are working to turn our battlefield success into peace.
Congressional Republicans have been demanding that renewed military aid to Ukraine and Israel be tied to securing the U.S. southern border, amid a record number of illegal crossings in recent weeks.
Our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first.
Holding Ukraine funding hostage in the attempt to force through an extreme Republican partisan agenda on the border is not how it works.
Democrats are pushing for an agreement before lawmakers begin their holiday recess.
They say it's an emergency at both the border and in Ukraine. You don't go home for 3 weeks.
The Biden administration, meanwhile, announced a new package of up to $200 million worth of arms and equipment for Ukraine, be drawn down from U.S. stockpiles. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, first of all, let's take a look out at Starbright Village. Kind of a messy, wet night out there, but still the Christmas lights are shining brightly in McKinney Park, where it's currently 53 degrees there. And we want to remind everybody here over the next few days, we're going to be dealing with some rain showers, even some thunder showers, and some colder temperatures. So be sure to download that CBS7 First Alert Weather app if you haven't already. A free download for your Android phone and your iPhone. That way you have the latest from the CBS7 First Alert team of meteorologists right there at your fingertips. Also radar and lightning tracker, so be sure to get that today. Not a lot going on the radar, but there is a lot of mess out there as we're starting to pick up some areas of mist and drizzle, and even a few light rain showers across parts of the Permian Basin right now. And those are going to be on the increase. As you can see, that storm system swirling back here across portions of Arizona into Utah. That's going to develop a surface low pressure system that's already starting to set up here across New Mexico, bringing in all that air, so that's why we're dealing with the gusty winds right now. But there's a lot of moisture from the Gulf and the Pacific associated with this, so that's going to increase rain chances. So far, a little disturbance has brought some areas of light to occasionally moderate rain and some showers from the Permian Basin into the South Plains and across portions of the Texas Panhandle, where temperatures have been a little on the cool side, especially when you add in that wind. Lower 50s right now out at the Midland International Air and Spaceport. Also 57 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So again, cool conditions across most of the state. Now we are going to be dealing with off and on areas of light rain, drizzle, mist, even some patchy fog possibilities, but that's going to be limited because of the gusty southeasterly winds we're going to be dealing with. So off and on light rain tomorrow. It's going to be a chilly day, so prepare for that. But it looks like the best chance of rain is when this whole system starts to roll out on Thursday. It looks like in the afternoon hours and into the evening, we'll start to see stuff roll out of portions of New Mexico right across the Permian Basin with some heavier rain possibilities and rainfall amounts highest here across the northeast Permian Basin to the eastern Permian Basin, but anywhere from 1 to 2 inches a possibility. So for the rest of tonight, again, we're going to keep some rain showers out there, mixed in with that mist and drizzle and a patch or two of fog as temperatures stay right around the 50-degree mark overnight tonight and really staying into the lower 50s tomorrow with off and on rain and gusty southeasterly winds to deal with. And that's going to make things feel rather chilly. Cold conditions behind that front coming up on Thursday with the better chances of rain by the afternoon into the evening hours, but then some clearing, but staying cold for Friday. And right now, the weekend before the Christmas weekend looks a little chilly, but we'll see plenty of sunshine in our forecast.
Still ahead, the details of a climate-conscious project in Netherlands that is bringing fresh dairy closer to home by swapping dry land for floating farm. The story is coming up in your consumer news here at 9. The farm-to-table concept isn't easy when you live in a city, but one climate-conscious project in the Netherlands is bringing fresh dairy closer to home by swapping dry land for a floating farm. CBS's Ian Lee reports.
Among the cranes in this Dutch shipping port sits a floating barn. Dozens of cows help deliver fresh milk and cheese to the city of Rotterdam.
We see that they are doing very well. Their fur is shiny. They produce a lot of milk, and the quality of the milk is very good.
The cows graze on hay and leftover orange rinds from a local grocery store. Robots milk the animals and even clean up their manure. Owner Mink van Wingerden calls it an innovative climate solution, especially in countries that suffer from flooding or drought.
When you have a floating farm, you are climate adaptive, so you can keep on producing fresh, healthy food for the city.
Mink's husband floated the idea after fresh food ran out when Hurricane Sandy flooded New York City in 2012.
If you like our milk, of course.
Visitors now come from far and wide to see the floating farm, many from big cities.
City dwellers, they also like to visit the farm and to see how food is produced.
Critics say the outcome of these farms will vary by region.
Of course, there's a huge carbon expenditure in the crafting of this, 3-story floating steel vessel.
Owners are moving on to the next stage after the success of the buoyant bovines, planning a second floating farm to grow vegetables, with the cow pies providing the heating. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
You're not imagining things. Hallucinate is dictionary.com's word of the year. Spokespeople for the website say they're not focused on its typical definition of seeing things that aren't there. Instead, they're interested in the meaning as it pertains to artificial intelligence. That definition is, quote, to produce false information contrary to the intent of the user and present it as if it were true and factual. In other words, it's when AI confidently makes stuff up. That's their words.
Which happens more so than not,
it
from
does
what
happen.
I've understood.
Yes, yes. So maybe a fitting word from dictionary.com.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, there's been some interesting experiments with AI concerning weather forecasting. And there's a bunch of people say it's really going to up the game here in the next couple of years. Right now, we're upping our weather game.
Yes, we are.
With a little bit of rain in
Yeah.
our forecast. Chilly conditions. Best chance of rain, I think, for the Permian Basin is going to be coming up late on Wednesday into Thursday. But then we'll clear out just in time for the week.
Is that really you or you AI right now? I
No,
don't
it's
know.
me.
Thanks for watching CBS 7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW. More news coming up tonight at 10.